The following is intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome to the Radioactive Podcast. Congratulations, by the way, Backwoods. This is officially episode number 10. I was checking that earlier. This is Backwoods Prepping over here that I'm with. And if y'all want to support us, because Google doesn't support us over here. If y'all want to support us in any way, shape, or form, the links are down below. You can find Backwoods channel down below as well. How's it been going this week? You ain't been feeling so good past couple of days?
Just kind of tried to get sick, I guess, man. I don't know. It was I went to the big public city town thing and came back and started feeling ill. Was kind of ill all day yesterday and last night, and still don't feel 100%. But hey, I got to come and be here for the people.
I didn't see a lot of content posting on your channel this week, and I thought, maybe when we booted up this week, I thought I was going to be sitting here with somebody from South America wearing your clothes. But as it turns out, you've been sick, and they flagged you and gave you a warning on a video that you were trying to post.
Yeah, I tried to post a video of the Doritos person that got hired, and it didn't go over well with YouTube, and so they gave me a warning. And our warlord, it's always parental advisory. Obviously, I'm not feeling like running any marathons today or anything, so
he's gonna take it easy on everybody this morning, I think. But we're going to be talking about some important stuff. We got a couple of videos that we want to run first, though, before we get into the more conspiracy stuff. We're going to try and do this every week. Each one of us is going to show a video on here that has caught our attention this week. And Backwoods has one, and then, I pointed him into the direction of a short video that was put out by a military member that he'd already seen. So...
yeah, so you don't have to pull it up just yet. Let me anyway, what I wanted to say is I found this video and I thought it would be a good public service announcement to those out there who do have children in school. So I thought this was very important to share when I found this. They like to find all kinds of sneaky ways to do things that probably is not parental friendly. I'll put it that way. So you can pull that up if you want, if you're ready.
Yes, sir.
So this is something I think everybody really should hear. If you've got children or grandchildren, whatever in the schools, you probably need to pay attention to this, honestly.
You need to hear what happened to the Eric Sack family in Maine, as reported in their local newspaper. Sack said his daughter brought home some pills in an unmarked baggie that she said were Zoloft that she'd received from the federally funded school-based health center inside her high school. Concerned that his minor daughter had received a prescription antidepressant without his knowledge or consent, Sack called the school, and the health center told him they were legally allowed to give his daughter prescription drugs without informing him, and they wouldn't talk about the lack of a label or safety container. So he pulled his daughter out of school until he could have her seen by a doctor of his choosing, not through the school. That triggered a call from a Child Protective Services agent to Sack, informing him that he would be arriving shortly to make a surprise visit to his home, and that it was, quote, an emergency situation that I was pretty near holding my daughter hostage, according to SAC. For 3 hours, the agent grilled him and his family individually and as a group, including questions about his firearms and where he keeps them. Eventually, the agent, quote, indicated that the complaint against him appeared to be unfounded, close quote. In a case at another Maine school, another mother was investigated by CPS after complaining that a social worker at her 13-year-old daughter's school had begun counseling her without parental knowledge on gender transition and provided her with breast binders. And school employees had begun using masculine pronouns to refer to the girl. Do you know what a school-based health center is? Do you know if your kid's school uses one? There are over 3,000 of them in the U.S. School-based health clinics are federally funded and intended to be your kid's primary care practitioner. If there's one in the school that your minor children attend, you might want to check the bundle of back-to-school forms you signed. You may have signed a form that you thought just gave authorization for emergency care when you actually gave your approval for a wide range of medical care, including routine pediatric care like immunizations, mental health and behavioral health services, including gender counseling and prescription medication, reproductive counseling, including hormonal birth control prescriptions, pregnancy-related care, sexually transmitted disease treatment, substance abuse interventions, dental and vision care, all without the school clinic even advising you, let alone getting your permission. I am a huge advocate of parental rights, especially around healthcare, social counseling, and education of our children. And that's what this post is about. It's not a statement of agreement or disagreement with gender transitioning. That's a very different and very deep subject. And precisely because it's so deep and life-altering, decisions around that belong squarely within the family circle with invited advisors.
Okay, so he just kind of goes over it again in the rest of the video there. But Pot B, I seen that you said, thank God you live in Missouri. Well, you might ought to check.
Did you say Pot B? I told you it's Pot B.
POTB.
No, you said Pot B. You're tripping up on your own lies here, son.
What are you talking
it's Pot
about?
B. What do you mean? What am I talking about? You were in chat the other day.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's POTB.
Unless you're identifying all of a sudden as they, them, there's only one backwards, and you were in chat.
No, that's the problem with you're going woke too, man. You just want to hear what you think you want to hear.
So thank you, mildest. Oh, wait a minute, mildest survivalist. Thank you. That's a mouthful. .gov knows best. No, I'm gonna have to disagree with that. Hopefully that's sarcasm.
Right.
But go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So anyway, yeah. So basically, POTB, you need to check, because when I was looking it up, there was multiple states, including Missouri, including Arkansas, that have these deals. And I even looked up, just so people can go, well, I'm not sure if that's really true or not. Well, you can go to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. I have it right here if y'all would like to see it. And it talks about they awarded $25 million to expand access to school-based health services. So I did back it up and fact check it for those naysayers out there.
It's a psyop. It's a psyop.
It's a psyop, man. I'm telling you, it's just a psyop, But yeah, so so basically you get these forms that you have to fill out, and there is an emergency medical authorization use in there. And so, I remember signing some, you know what I mean? And our schools, looks like there's tons of videos promoting it, calling it medical care for the absent. Yeah,
they're out there.
That's what I'm saying, man. There's 3,300 of them right now in the United States. And you would be surprised at how many of this stuff is going on. So I wanted to share that with y'all this morning for just for a regular public service announcement, because that's something that's very important. They want to get your kids in these indoctrination camps at school and basically do what they want to with them, and it's BS. So
did you have a chance to pull the other video up of the service member that I tagged you in on Twitter?
Yes,
X, whatever it is. I appreciate that. Bama Jen says you are bringing sexy back.
Yeah, well, she's obviously misinformed.
Well, yeah, she's an Alabama fan. She's misinformed. So yeah, that stuff is really going on, and there's stuff going on within the military, folks. We were talking about this before we went live. There's some good service members, and there's some service members that are just going to do whatever they're told, like robots.
May pull that video up.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Thank you, Martin Clift. Appreciate that.
I know a lot of people has probably already seen this video. I know I've seen it before.
Yeah.
But, everybody needs to understand.
There might be a few that haven't seen it. This is the National Guard. This is the military's viewpoint, a lot of them at least, on martial law.
Right.
Martial law. Understand that if active duty military actually get deployed within the United States, that weapon is not just pointed at other people, other countries. It's pointed at you. If you do not get in your house when I tell you to, you become the enemy. Martial law. Martial law.
So there you go.
So yeah, there's something else that's happening right now. People say, people will say when it comes to martial law, they'll argue what martial law is, like they're going to get the rule books out and they're telling you to your face right now, no, we're going to point a weapon at you. And if you don't do exactly what we tell you to do, you're the enemy at that point. Let's see here.
Yeah. They, man, I'm going to tell you, Japan, China, places like that, man, they're teaching their children how to assemble and disassemble weapons. They have several programs throughout the day to where they go and they visit. They go out into nature and learn about nature and these kind of things. They also,
user error on my part. I can't even blame YouTube for that one, brother. Sorry about that.
I mean,
I just started live streaming. Yeah, I've never done this before, guys.
Rookie.
Sorry about that. Shady, what's going on, brother? Guess we are all the enemy. Yeah, actually, I saw it on X and I replied and I said, guess what? You're not the only one with a weapon when it comes down to it. Maybe you got a better weapon. Maybe you know how to use it better. Maybe not.
You got to understand.
You become the enemy. If these people are telling you to go in your house, they're the enemy at that point. I think that's tyranny to me, brother.
Well, you got to understand, that they've been talking about for a while that the recruitment numbers are down. So they're basically bringing in all these illegal aliens, these illegals into our country.
You said the potty word.
They're bringing them into our country, and they are wanting to put a whole bunch of them into the military. I know that we have done that throughout the years, but man, they're wanting to, just put people that are just coming across, in fact, Joe Biden brought 330,000, I believe it was, from other countries on an airplane.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, on airplanes.
What did you refer to these people as though?
Illegals.
They're newcomers. That's according to the White House. Who are you to argue with the White House, Backwoods? We're nobodies.
Man, fuck the White House. and all the people in it.
Yeah, I don't know what that first part means. I'm sorry, I'm not blocking it on purpose. We had planned to play videos there at the beginning, but thank you very much.
Every time I
J954
post comments,
Can't Stop Me Nation. Oh, this is for you. He's saying, "What's up, Backwoods?"
Yeah, you're not blocking comments.
Bro, I'm disconnecting
blocked it with the
myself from the
video.
chat. I
He's
don't know
saying
what I'm doing.
I guess I don't know. I don't understand. I guess yeah. But they're wanting to put these. You got to understand, they're wanting to put these people from other countries and stuff that don't like us. And you know, they don't like us, and so when you break that down, they're wanting to put them into the military, and then you got these woke people like this. If you don't think that someone that they tell them, you know, hey, you go in the military, you do what we tell you to do, no matter what it is, and we'll give you citizenship and set you all up real nice and fancy, they're going to do it, man. They says, man, these group of people over here, these are not real Americans, and we want them shot. You know, go in and distinguish them. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? These people are going to do it. So
he doesn't feel good, Dynamite. Dynamite says, "Is it me or does Backwoods kind of sound like Potato Joe?"
Yeah,
right now?
He's
sick, y'all.
It's very, very, very rare I get a headache, and I've had a horrible fucking headache for the last 2 days. So. Like it's like I can't. I'm taking some aspirins. I can't get it to go away.
So we're sitting here talking about stuff that is confirmed to be going on. You're always going to have those people where you're making it up, blah blah blah. But this stuff's confirmed, right?
Right.
We're getting ready to get into the unconfirmed. This is based on last week's poll, and we're going to try and blow your mind a little bit. We're going to be talking about several things. We got to start with randomly here. Not like I have it written down, which I do. Aliens. Let's start with aliens. The thumbnail art. What say you, chat? Where do you folks stand on aliens? Backwoods, where do you stand on aliens as we see them in Hollywood and TV? I'm not talking about Eagle Pass, Texas. I'm talking about, you know, boogie woogie from the sky and in silver ships and stuff.
Well, I believe they're demons. That's just my personal opinion. You know, I do believe in God. I believe in Jesus and everything. And God talks about, you know, that casting Satan, you know, Lucifer and his minions, you know, his demons, there was how many of them was there total? There was like, man, 13. I can't remember exactly. Can't think straight. But anyway, I think they're demons, man. I just really do, you know, and you got a lot of these people in higher up positions and such, you know, that have been talking about, they've been talking with them and stuff, you know.
Aliens and Demons by Michael Heiser on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roy Batty.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's just a crazy deal, man, that they're trying to sell them off. And I truly believe, my personal belief is that when the rapture happens, that they're going to sell it as the aliens come and got them and taking them to re-educate them. That's kind of my belief system, that they're going to, I've thought that for many, many years, that I think they're going to, you know, when people just all of a sudden disappear, you know, the rapture, people fall dead, however you read it, however it comes across to you as the rapture happening, you know, I think the disappearance of many, many people are going to, they're going to sell it off as the aliens, and that, you know, that's where my personal belief is, that's where obviously the Antichrist is going to come from, is that it's the leader of the aliens. You know what I'm saying? Kind of the leader, the spokesperson. He's going to be, because the Antichrist is a demon. You know, he's not, you know, he's not a natural man like we are, you know. And so that's why I believe that.
You ever seen the older early 1980s TV show V? Stood for Visitors. Anybody in chat or Backwoods, have you seen this show? It's really dated. The special effects suck nowadays. It's called V. It's just the letter V.
Yeah, V. Yeah,
but it stands for Visitors. Man, it's very relatable. I agree that at some point they're going to introduce the concept of aliens being here, you know, and I do think that they're going to be lying to people about it. I go back to that TV show and I see the propaganda posters that were hanging up to say the visitors are our friends. You know what I mean? These aliens are hugging people on the posters and stuff. And it reminded me of the C-19 billboards and stuff, to be honest with you. But in this TV show, humans began to worship these aliens because these aliens were able to cure certain diseases, and it was considered miracles and stuff like this. And even pastors in the TV show began to worship these things. They would not allow anybody to speak out against, you know what I mean? They took Jesus, put him over here on the shelf, and they're like, we're going to worship these things now. So I agree with you. I do think that it's biblical. And I do think at some point they're going to introduce this. And of course, there was a fifth column on the TV show as well, that realized what they actually were doing and were fighting back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You all right over there?
Yeah. YouTube keeps shadow banning Jack. Says I'll be one of the breeders for the female aliens. Well, it depends on what they look like. I mean,
come on, man.
Come on, man. I mean, well, you can't just say that.
That man's a Kamala Harris fan. That's all I'm saying.
You may, you know, they may be ugly. I mean, you know, you never know. You know, it may be like them Black Widows, man. If
demons, in my opinion, Hutch, demons are fallen angels, is all they are. So technically, yes, but I do think that they're going to appear to be not demons, but I don't know if they'll be green aliens or what they're going to be, but they're going to take on a different form.
Yeah,
and be introduced as from another world or something.
Yeah, they're fallen angels, but you got to understand that once Satan steals the souls, you know, there's many demons that are created, you know, through that, and that's why that's why they're, you know, but I mean the fallen angels, you know, there's many different levels of you know, things like that, you know what I'm saying, with the evilness, and some focus on this, some focus on that, things like that. It's actually pretty crazy. I actually have a video of my personal opinion. This is a demon, and they come in all forms. And you know,
I don't think I've seen this one, so I'm interested now, man.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it real fast. It should be, I should have it saved, because, you know,
I'll ask you this while you're pulling it up. Do you think that they're already here? Do you think they're within the government? I've heard some people say they've already compromised the government and stuff like this.
Oh, absolutely. They're absolutely in our government, man. They are in our military. They're in our government. They're in many governments and many high places, you know. Well, damn, where'd that? I just like watched it. Where'd it go? Maybe it's flipping through here too fast and skipped over it. Well, that sucks. But yeah, I think that, you know, there's a lot of this stuff that is right in front of people's faces. You got to be awake to see it, man. And once you're woke to it and start seeing it, you will see it more easily. You know what I mean? It will be a lot easier for you to see. And man,
Do you think AI is going to play a huge role in it?
oh,
Because
absolutely,
AI is tricking a lot of people now, man.
absolutely. AI will definitely play a part in it, man. If you look, you've seen these where they're actually have them new goggles and stuff, and
Uh,
people are living out these fantasies in their goggles through these Google goggle things. And
Google goggle things.
yeah, man, well they are they're living out their fantasies in real time in front of people, man. So it's pretty crazy, actually. I can't find that video, man. I'm not gonna sit here and look for it all day.
That's all right, man. We may get
But it's
into it next week, depending
basically
on how the poll goes.
well, basically it's this old lady, and she comes up to this guy's car, and she just comes up and just starts touching his window and stuff. And he rolls his window down, and he's like, what are you doing? Get away from my car, you know. And she puts her hands, you know, the window's cracked down about this far. She puts her hands in there, and she starts doing this with her finger. And she's just looking at him. She's like, what are you doing? You know? And he's like, what, you know, get out of here, you know? And she just starts looking at him, you know, and then she reaches in and tries to swipe the phone, you know, like try to slap the phone because he's recording it, you know. And she grabs the window, and man, her voice completely, yeah, the British crazy lady. Yeah, Wing It with Ethan. Yeah, you've seen that. Man, and she starts talking like she's like, you know, and like a real gravelly voice, and you know, calls him names, and you know, it's like, get out of here, you know. And then she just takes off, you know. And dude, I mean, you know, people can write it off as they're just crazy, you know, but I seen where a lot of people, you know, say people are crazy. And sometimes it's not that they're crazy, they're possessed, man. They're demon possessed, dude. And so you got to pay attention to that, you know, and you can kind of see it, you know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, man. Let's switch topics here because we got several. Bigfoot. It's
Bigfoot.
often talked about in the prepping community. Where do you stand on Bigfoot, man? Are you a believer? Are you a Bigfoot denier?
I will say it like this. The only way that Bigfoot can be explained off is that it is a demon shapeshifter of some sort, because I've been in the woods my whole life. I grew up with over 10,000 acres in my backyard, man. I mean, it was, you know, it's just nothing but woods and mountains and swamps. And I grew up in the woods, dude. I mean, you know, it was back in the day when, you know, we didn't have all these video games and all that. And yeah, Nephilim, exactly. You know, Okikon.
Y'all didn't have electricity back then, did you?
Not much.
Water or anything.
Not well. It was. We had to go out there and wind up this deal, you know, for a little.
I mean, that's the Oregon Trail days right there.
Right. So yeah, I've never seen one in the woods personally, so I can't say for sure that I believe in Bigfoot. I know that I've heard some things in the woods that were I know I was sitting here looking at the chat. I know that I've heard one time in the woods, I heard some distinct knocks on a tree. You know, the what they say Bigfoot does. I wasn't going to go find out what was making the knocks. You know, I was deer hunting. I had my rifle. I had my sidearm. I pulled that action back and made sure there was a shell in there. I knew there was, but you know what I mean?
Going out there like,
you know,
wherever you are.
I did that, and then, you know, I got I carry a 357 Magnum. It's a Ruger Blackhawk, and so I looked at it and spun the cylinder there and made sure she's all loaded and ready to go. And I just kind of kept looking. And even my cousin came back and he's like, man, did you hear them knocks? And I was like, yeah, I heard them. He goes, dude, that was weird. He said, ain't that what, Bigfoot does? And I'm like, I mean, that's what they say, so I don't know. I wasn't going to look and find out. And he said he wasn't going to look and find out either. So,
I used to laugh at that crowd. I'll own it. People used to, I didn't understand the conventions. I didn't understand the obsession with it. I've never seen Bigfoot. I've never heard knocks or anything like that. But I know a few people that I trust, and I don't know why they would lie about it, who have claimed to either have heard those knocks coming back or seen something that resembled Bigfoot. Like, they'll say they're camping and they hear something, so they knock on a tree 4 times, very specifically. And a few seconds later, they get 4 knocks right back. You know what I mean? What are the chances of a wild animal doing that?
Well, I've done seen 2 or 3 people talking about rutting season and all that. I've watched deer, bucks go at it in the woods. I understand what rattling sounds like, when they're fighting, anywhere from the tickle of the horns to the full on. This was in rhythm, in sequence. It was a book, book. You know what I'm saying? Book. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7 total knocks. You know what I mean? And it was just real distinct. They were in rhythm. Boom. And you could tell. I mean, and even Cuz was like, man, that was somebody. That was either somebody or Bigfoots or whatever. Was knocking on a tree. That was something hitting a tree. Like a limb hitting
distinctively.
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. I know. I've been deer hunting my whole life too, and like I said, I've actually watched bucks fight in the woods before. So it wasn't deer.
Black Cat Whirligig, like code. So what people will do when they're supposedly hunting Bigfoot is they can knock a certain way or in a certain pattern, and that knock will come back to them a few seconds later.
Right.
Which would indicate that deer are not rutting and stuff like that. Like, that's more of a random sound. Of course, stuff's going to make sounds out in the woods, but for it to be whatever pattern you're sending it in as, I don't know, man. There's so many wooded acreage up like in the Pacific Northwest and parts of Canada that people just don't go to. I guess it's possible. I went from laughing at these people to I'm kind of on the fence one way or the other about this now. I don't understand how all we got's a little bit of grainy footage. You all right, man?
Hutch.
But at the same time, man, I don't know. I understand why people would become obsessed with it. Like, if you're out in the woods, let's say you're out deer hunting and you saw a Bigfoot, and it was unmistakable that this was a Bigfoot to you, right? It's not a brown bear, not a black bear, or whatever. And you try and tell people, and people think you're nuts. You would maybe become obsessed with proving to people, I saw this, it's out there. So I do get these people now. Somebody was asking, there are Bigfoot conventions where these people will meet up and exchange information and coordinates and stuff. It's crazy, but I get it now.
I watched a bunch of them Bigfoot hunting shows, man. They're fun to watch. Hutch had said that Nation laughed at Bigfoot because he didn't understand how hair can grow on a face.
Yeah, that's all right. It's Hutch. That's all that needs to be said. It's Hutch. I might hang a sign up here. This wall's kind of bare.
Right. Just trying to blend in, sometimes where you can kind of move over towards the bare wall there, and you could just kind of blend in with the lack of hair.
Yeah. I can grow it out, but it starts to scraggle. It starts to look like I don't know how to explain it. Do you remember the old Mountain Dew cans where they had the Mountain Man on the front? It just starts looking that way.
Medusa.
I start to look like a moonshiner. My wife hates it. She's like, you need to trim that thing back. So I trim it back. You know, I sit there, I lay there at night and I'm like, do I want to impress Hutch on YouTube or do I want to impress my wife? You know what I'm saying? Who am I trying to get sugar from? It ain't Hutch. I'm not like you, Backwoods. I ain't rolling with Brokeback Mountain and Walmart and stuff like this, man. I ain't judging you for it or nothing, but I'm just saying, you know,
it's
the honey on the biscuit comes from the wife.
It's 2024, man. You got to have, you know, the what is it?
Hey.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, man.
Negative, Ghost Rider. At least on this end, that's going to be a big negative. So this one you brought up, and this is what a discussion we about to have.
Oh yeah.
What say you, chat? Does a secret society run the world? And you started talking before we went live about Illuminati cards on eBay. You said you brought some receipts other than just looking like a crazy person over there right now. You said you got a video or some receipts or something, man. Something about Dana White.
Well, I have a couple of videos actually here, and this is a pretty. Let me get to it here. Share screen. There we go. This is pretty interesting here.
All right, so we all know about the Illuminati card game that was made in the 90s and how it's so-called predicted the 9/11 attacks, Pentagon, even Trump, the pandemic, even the January 6th insurrection.
The guy's face down in the corner, though.
I've heard of.
Oh,
Is this one, the rapture that will be explained away by an alien abduction. Why is this used in the card game? Because they know it's going to happen. I believe this is going to be the great deception. They will either say that the aliens abducted a bunch of people, or that they took us, Christians, to re-educate us. This is another rapture card. When the rapture comes, I'll make them wait. They'll never clean my cage. Now give me some more of ... Tape runs out. Satan doesn't even know when this is going to happen. And that is why it's a mystery. So over time, they have made plenty of people believe in aliens, because one day there will come a time when a lot of people disappear. And this is the best that they've come up with to explain it. Luke chapter 21, verse 36, be always on the watch and pray that you may be able to escape all that is about to happen, and that you may be able to stand before the Son of Man. If you want to escape everything that is about to happen, call on Jesus today.
So
these are, I don't want them or anything, but you said those are available on eBay?
Yes.
Like somebody can just go on eBay and buy these things?
Yeah, because I was kind of like, okay, is it, because when I watch a video, I always want to kind of fact check it before I bring it on here, because people
that's not true, because people in chat sometimes say you're full of crap and you ain't fact checking nothing, man.
Yeah, well, maybe they eat a shit sandwich, with the side of, never mind. Anyway, so but no, the whole thing about it is that this is
that a Bigfoot knock?
No, my husky. I've got a Siberian husky.
Oh, okay.
And the westerns, when certain western songs come on, like before a TV western, they'll play their little song or whatever, and he howls at them and sings with them. It's kind of funny, but anyway, yeah. So I went on and just looked up, what I'm saying, Illuminati cards, and sure enough, man, you can buy them on eBay, dude. It's an Amazon, so it's kind of crazy, man. And also, there's a, just so for the naysayers out there, I got this as well here. Here's an there were I mean, when I looked up Illuminati cards, I mean, just all kinds of stuff came up, and this is actually a from the Independent here. This, I mean, there were numerous articles. I just picked one. And the 90s card game that predicted 9/11, Donald Trump, COVID, and the Capitol riot. And I mean, it's, you know, it shows some cards and stuff, and it talks about this in here. And like I said, there's multiple articles about this that they talk about. It talks about QAnon, anti-vaxxers, 5G paranoia. Illuminati's terrorist nuke card, for instance, shows an explosion midway up a skyscraper in a scene that looks undeniably like the attack on the Twin Towers. You know, charismatic leader right here. I mean, that's, you know, they're comparing that one to Trump. There is a Hillary Clinton card in the deck and a tree hugging Al Gore. So I mean, it's dude, this stuff is.
Let me ask you a question. All right, because I'm with you so far on this. But if this is true and there's a secret society that's running everything and it's the It Club and we ain't in it, where does Donald Trump fall in all this? Does it matter if we elect him at this point? Because it sounds like if a secret society's running everything, it doesn't matter who the president is.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people out there that tell you don't vote. There's a lot of people that tell you to vote. I vote. We had the Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
That was, you know, I went and voted. The primaries, you know, or whatever. I went and voted. Yeah, there's, you know, basically the best thing I can tell you is that, you know, follow whatever it is you want to follow. They're, you know, again, you know, everything's a psyop, and so, you know, it's just like, you know, believe what you want to believe. Do what you want to do. The one thing I can tell you about voting, for instance, is that if you don't vote, they are going to, it makes it easier for them to steal. I've been looking into a lot of this stuff. There has been multiple court cases on this stuff where they're proven now that
No, Roy, you're not being censored, brother. Chat's flying. You're in chat. You know, it's just flying on this end.
You know, there basically my belief is that if you don't vote, you're giving the other people what they want.
Making it easier for them is what you're saying.
Making it easier for them to cheat. I've got some stuff that I've saved that I've been researching, and Italy. There was some people in Italy and Frankfurt, Germany that were involved in our elections, you know, because we weren't supposed to be online, but we were. And they admitted on one of these videos that I got when they were, they've got a few people that came forward and whistleblowers, whatever you want to call it. And they admitted that the 2016 election caught them off guard. The 2020 election, they said that there were so many Trump voters that their algorithm couldn't keep up, and that they had to go in, and that was the reason why people kept asking who gave the orders for them to stop the count in multiple places that night. They said that the dude said that it was because of them, because it was overwhelming for Trump, and the algorithm couldn't adjust for it. So they had to stop the count in order to steal it. And they've got all the proof. And so I don't know.
Paper ballots.
Yes.
Paper ballots can account for it. That's what we need to go back to, in my opinion.
Yes,
Um,
and so yeah,
Go
you
ahead, bro.
gotta understand that they're basically, if you don't vote, from what I've seen, that just makes it easier for them to steal it, and so it is what it is. Believe what you want to believe. I feel like if you don't do every single thing in your power, every single thing in your power that you have at your disposal to do what you can, then you're part of the problem. And that's just my personal
Can
opinion.
you repeat the last 10 minutes for Pot B, please?
Pot B, I'll call you. I'll call you after the show, and we'll.
Hey, Backwoods, in all seriousness, we were talking about symbolism. You got a
Yeah,
video. I think it's Dana White, right?
yes, it is.
That is on this video. People know Dana White is. He runs the UFC, owns the UFC, I think.
Yes. And let's get to it here. All right. So this was an interview that he was going to do with Howie Mandel podcast. And so anyway, here we go.
Dana White, you are an amazing guy. I can't thank you enough for being here. You and Ginger seem to be getting along. You are not only an amazing businessman, you are an inspiration. You are a philosopher, the way you do business, the way you.
Now understand, right before this is a real small clip of this. Before that, he started questioning him about allowing his people to, say what they want to say, and how some of it was not very appropriate, the DEI stuff, and
Right.
so anyway, and then Dana gets kind of pissed, and then he goes on to this.
Conduct your business and your friendships and media is I'm jealous, but Dana, I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate it. I am so fucking tired of doing podcasts. I'm literally done with them. I'm not doing any more podcasts.
Boom, right there. You can tell when he stands up, he intentionally does this. Watch him again. Boom. Did you see that? He just kind of gave a little quick. Boom. And there you can go and look through multiple ones, and you can see there's hundreds of videos out there like that, man, where they're doing it, and I have actually seen videos of Trump doing the same thing. When certain subjects and stuff comes up, I've seen him do that. I've seen where some people, I've seen a video of someone in Congress, and I can't think of the guy's name, and he was speaking, and you could tell he was really nervous about stuff, and he kind of turned, and there's somebody sitting back there in the seats in Congress, and the dude does like this right here. I mean, he flat does it right like this. And they freaking, the dude turns back, and he just like, yeah, and starts doing that.
If y'all could help us out really quick, if you were still in chat, maybe shoot a thumbs up. We would appreciate it.
I mean, people believe what you want to believe, guys. I mean, don't tell me I'm high as fuck, because I know what I see. I read shit all the time. I look through all this stuff, man. The Illuminati shit is real. The child, that's what really pisses me off about this, is the fact that, the children are the ones that are suffering through all this, because these demonic pieces of shit are going after children. They're sex slaves, and they are sacrificing humans, and this shit is real. And if you don't believe that, then you're part of the problem. That's the whole thing. Man,
You're not done with podcasting, are you?
no.
Like old Dana
You know
White.
what? You know what, motherfuckers?
Wow. He gone. No, wait, he's come back. Hold on.
Man, I mean, dude, that's the problem. See, is that nobody wants to wake up, and that's the reason why we are in the position that we are in today, because everybody wants to try to not believe it. Oh, that's not true. I can't believe that. There's no way that's true. Well, children don't just disappear. They don't just disappear and go into thin air.
Yeah.
People
not only that, but the statistics, because it's always been happening, but the statistics, like from the 1980s to now, are like a rocket ship of kids disappearing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a issue larger than just, you've always had a few demented people that were bad people, but not like today, not like 2024, man.
Well, I mean, it's like, damn, you show people, I guess maybe when one of their family members gets sexually abducted and used as a sex slave, maybe they'll wake up and start to understand. Yeah, exactly. 800,000 people a year don't just disappear. And you know what? That's just in the United States. That's just in the United States.
Yeah. Well, now that we've touched on Illuminati, we've only got one more thing on the list here that we're going to talk about, because this is the lightweight stuff. We're going to be running a poll shortly, and one of the poll options is Backwoods blowing y'all's mind with some deep rabbit hole stuff next week if y'all want to. But zombies. Let's talk about zombies for a few minutes, man. The Hollywood type, we're not talking about people that are strung out wearing flip-flops, walking around the city on cell phones and stuff. Not those type of zombies. I mean, the Hollywood, done been infected with some sort of plague among mankind. Where do you stand on zombies, and what say you, chat?
Well, I mean, we've seen multiple drugs that put people in a zombie type state, and my true belief is that, from a lot of research that I've been doing, I don't get up here and just make this shit up. I research stuff, man. You can ask Nation. I text him and talk about, these things. I'm like, I need, notes. And we even go over some of these videos before we do the live stream to make sure that, we're not going to get his channel just completely nuked, He spent a lot of time building his channel, so we have to be careful on that end as well. And so, this is stuff that I do a lot of research on, and some of y'all may know, and a lot of you don't know, but Friday night and Saturday night, I got a group of people that we hang out in a backstage setting, and there's 4, 5, 6 of us. And we deep dive down these rabbit holes, and I'm talking about, Friday night and Saturday night from about 10 o'clock at night until sometimes 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We sit and deep dive and go through this stuff and look stuff up and to make sure of what's going on. So there's a whole lot more going on than people understand and people realize, because some of the stuff that I've seen, I'm going to be honest with you, man, it terrifies the hell out of me, man, of what's being done to people. You got weapons out there that they can talk to you. They can literally talk to you, and the person standing beside you can't hear it. I mean, it's not a secret anymore. These things are not secrets, man. They are playing with the DNA. When you look at these whiskey shots, man, and I'm not talking about some good old Jack Daniels or Jim Beam or Crown Roll or whatever it is you drink. I'm talking
creation of Dr. F himself.
I'm talking about they're screwing with people's DNA. They are putting this crap in your food. They are putting stuff in your water that screws with different aspects of your mind. The military actually did a research on the God gene, I believe it was called, and to where they were trying to figure out how to get rid of the religious part of your brain. There is more things going on than a lot of people understand, man. It really is. some of the stuff that I see, Yankee Watchdog is one of the people he's there every Friday and Saturday night, man. Every time we go in there, you can ask Yankee Watchdog, man. We see some shit that makes you go, wow, what in the
You've
hell?
shown me a few videos that I can't explain, man. I accused it of being AI, and you're like, no, it's not AI.
Yeah, and I mean, the chemtrails, man. They're trying like hell to deny it, but yet there's a lot of video footage leaking out, and it's aluminum and barium. What are the barium and aluminum? What is the periodic table symbols for barium and aluminum?
And you can see the trails, man. They'll go for a while, then they instantly stop, and then it'll start back up a little way down.
Well,
down the way,
barium is BA and aluminum is AL. What does that spell? Think about that for a minute. BA
the devil, right?
And AL, ball. That's exactly what it spells. And I have a theory on the fires, even because even in Texas, people can say what they want to. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't on Hawaii, when that fire happened in Maui, and all that stuff. But there is a way that you can take fine shavings of aluminum and you can make an explosive, an accelerant, like gunpowder. Right. You can fine up aluminum like that, and if they're spraying this aluminum into the skies like they are, and they're talking about it's little pieces of plastics as well, tiny plastics. Everybody knows plastic will burn, and they're spraying this stuff in the air. It's falling down onto the earth. And my true belief is that, when these fires are happening, you know what I mean? Because we can sure get into the.
I was going to say the poll. I just put the poll up a few minutes ago. It's literally 50-50. I just checked it. The National Guard, are they being deployed because of crime, or are they being staged for the upcoming election? Versus the stuff Backwoods is talking about right now, stuff that will literally blow everybody's mind. He told me before we went live, he said, man, we can get into subjects and you won't be able to podcast for 2 or 3 days on YouTube because you're going to be wondering what's going on, man. So if that's y'all's cup of tea, vote that option. I'm interested in this stuff, but
we can do both, man. We can do
both.
We can do both.
We can't get people to hit the thumbs up, brother.
What are you
talking about?
But I'm just saying, man, that even Governor Abbott come out and said that he had been through many natural disasters and many things, and he said, I watched the interview, and he said, this is something I've never seen before. He said everything is gone. He said there are no remnants of structures anymore. He said it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. He said it's all gone, like there's nothing. And so, if you put that into context with the aluminum and barium that they're spraying into the atmosphere, and the aluminum, if they do it enough, could that be that accelerant that is causing these massive fires the way that they are? Yeah, and the blue roofs, exactly, Zombie 5. Yeah,
I do. I buy into that. The blue colored roofs.
Well, I mean
that's kind of hard to deny at this point.
Yes, it is. It's real hard to deny.
On zombies, I'll say this much, and this is going. Were you over smoking again, Swishers?
Well, somebody asked what I'm smoking.
Well, you would think it would be Backwoods cigars, like you literally have your own brand name. But that's a huge topic, man. That don't even make sense.
Yeah, I tried some Backwoods cigars. They're all right, man.
On the zombies, I agree with you, man. They keep hacking and slashing when it comes to DNA and the viral stuff. And I think that the people that are in charge, they'll weaponize it. If they can figure out how to perfect it, they would weaponize it. It would go a long way to depopulating. So it checks that box. But honestly, man, I'm
Yes.
not sitting here saying I would welcome it with open arms, but I got to admit, I ain't afraid of that either. I think it would be a pretty cool event. I know that sounds crazy, but man, think about it. You're not paying taxes anymore. You're living in a full Mad Max world where the strong survive and even thrive. You don't have cell phone zombies anymore. You don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about DEI stuff. All of that stuff is gone, man. We get back to a primitive state, if you will.
Well,
And I don't know, it appeals to me, man.
well, first off, Captain Coral, email me. I'll send you the link. You know, everybody's. I mean, I can only have so many people up, but you know, you're welcome to come back there and hang out with us. You know, and also, didn't Biden say something about the roofs as well? He did. He said you can see,
Yeah.
he said you can see all this waste, you know, everything's just destroyed, you know, burnt down, ashes and stuff. And he goes, well, and then what was it? He said something about and if they didn't have the right roof on or something,
Yeah.
or if they had the right roof on.
They drop the truth, they sprinkle it in
Yes.
everything that they do, man, and you got to dig around and find it. And people think you're crazy for digging around and finding it, but who doesn't want to know what's
Right.
going on? What kind of idiot doesn't want to know the truth, you know?
And Romans says, I read and researched much of what you have. I quit searching and just kept preparing because it's so evil. And that's what I'm saying. This stuff, man, it's made me question existence. I ain't gonna lie. It's made me really step back and look at things, you know, differently. There is a lot of insane things going on. I've got one video, and Hutch saw it. Hutch, if you're still here, you can verify this. And it's a mountain in Mexico, in the cartels, and it's a body parts factory. I don't know what the hell they're all doing with all the body parts, man, but I mean, it literally shows them. It literally shows them like filleting people, man. The first time I seen it, I was like, "There's no way this is real," and I watched it like a couple of times, man, and I was just, yeah. See, there's Hutch right there. See, I sent it to them, and dude, it's not AI. This shit is real, man. That's why I say, you know, that's why I get upset when people say, "Oh, you're high as fuck. You're just, you know, yeah. I mean, you're just trying to buy into everything." No, it's the dude. You don't understand what is really and truly going on out there, man. This shit is real. The evilness is there, man. And all I can tell you is, get right with your God, man. Whoever your God is, you better get right with them, man, because things are ramping up. It's getting more and more. And I'm gonna tell you, man. People can say it how they want to. People can believe what they want to. I don't, you know, I've got to the point where I really don't even care anymore what people think, man, because if you don't vote and you don't, you know, you don't get out there and get involved in all this stuff, man, you're just giving more power to them, man. That's all I'm gonna say. And
Making it easy, you know what I'm saying?
Making it easy, man. Yeah.
Force them to steal it. Don't just pack it up and put a bow on it and hand it to them. At least force them to steal it. I would say
It's dude, I'm telling you, that body parts factory, and I've got another video where they reported on this, man, and nobody did anything. Nobody really said anything, man. But I've got the damn video where they reported, and it was at a shipping yard, and there was this big container deal, and they didn't know what was in it, and some of the paperwork got screwed up. So one of the people went to check, and it had up into the thousands of infants and babies in it. And I mean, it's a news. It was on the fucking news, man. The guys were talking about it, and they're like, "Man, this is the weirdest. I don't understand what's going on." dude, this stuff has been going on for a long time, and it's going to continue to go on.
You know what we need to do? I'm gonna propose this for next week. Okay, we may not be able to do it on Thursday. I may have to do this on Friday, but the poll is really close. So we need to probably talk about both things. We need to have a rant-a-thon. Y'all heard of a telethon? Let's do a rant-a-thon. And here's what I'm talking about. Since we know we're going to be talking about stuff that's going to be immediately flagged, let's just run it ad-free. Let's do ad-free next week. I'll turn ads completely off. That way they can't touch the thing. Maybe we'll get, a few other creators up on panel. We've been talking about doing that, get Warlord up here or Hutch or somebody, and I'll drop down into the chat for a while. That way there's still only 2 people up here. And talk about real stuff ad-free. You want to do that, brother? Because it may go over an hour.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think Hutch and Warlord both would be really good to bring up here, my personal self. And that would I think that would be an awesome show. Both them fellers is smart, and they have a certain way with things, man. I think that would be a awesome freaking show, man. Awesome show.
Awesome. Well, we'll get into both subjects next week. We'll probably start with the National Guard stuff because, not to get too much into it, but they've deployed to New York City because of the crime. Right now they're at, the subway and stuff. But it could be that we're going to continue to see this in other places as the election approaches. You know what I mean? Like a tactful deployment of these individuals, and then we'll start going down rabbit holes, man. And I know you'll bring receipts and stuff for that, and that gives you an entire week to pull up videos and stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we might even get Pot B on here, not POTB backwoods.
POTB. We would have to catch him in between his work. He delivers sex toys, and
oh wow.
Yeah, it's some kind of new home delivery system, man. And they go in and he explains how to do them and everything. It's quite an interesting job, actually. He makes a lot of good money on it.
I can see that it's interesting to you, and you continually talk about Brokeback Mountain. You got me worried, Backwoods. I'm gonna be honest with you.
He said it was really uncomfortable the first couple of times when Pot B went in there, and he had to. It was guys in there. He said it was really uncomfortable, but he said he's getting used to it now. So, but Pot B says that he's on vacation next week. So.
Okay. Well, we'll get some creators in here with us next week. We'll do a rant-a-thon. We'll go longer and stronger and deep dive it, baby.
Maybe we can do 2 or 3. Maybe even see. I know Native works and everything, but Native's real smart about a lot of this stuff too, and maybe we can bring some folks up and do well more than an hour show and give everybody a chance to speak on certain things. That would be
do it like telethon, man. I'll get up. I'll jump into the chat. I'll blast links out for the different channels of the creators coming up. Again, we'll turn the ads off because Google ain't gonna like what we have to say.
Right.
We'll leave it to the community whether they want to support us or not or whatever. Like we Jerry's kids over here or something. But anyway, we'll do that next week.
Yeah, do it, brother. Just go all over the place, all down some rabbit holes, man.
Oh, I have no doubt you're gonna pull us down those holes. Appreciate everybody being here. You got any last words, Backwoods, before we sign off here?
Man, I said it last week, and I want to say it again this week, and I've been trying to make sure that I put this out there really well, that all this stuff is going to come to pass. We've just got to go along for the ride. Understand that this stuff is scary, that we see. This stuff is crazy that we see. Some people, don't even know how to deal with it. But the one thing you got to remember is that God wins. We know the end. We know the story ending, and don't let doom and gloom set upon your life. Instead, what you need to do is just understand what's happening. I always say, prepare your mind properly, and things will fall into place. and go about your day. Have good times with your people around you, your loved ones, and but the main thing I want to say is when you go out into public, please be sure to be vigilant in your surroundings, your situational awareness. It is super important, man. I just watched a video yesterday where I think it was in Philly. Of course, Philly is pretty bad, but I mean, it's happening all over the place. And this guy basically, he was a veteran, and he was an older guy, and they pulled up. He had let his kids out, and his kids are grown. He had let his kids out, and some dude walked up, shot him twice in the chest, killed him right there on the spot. Just for they don't know why. They're trying to figure out if this guy had gotten into an argument with somebody, and I mean, so there's the knockout game that's still going on. So be vigilant and yes, keep your head on a swivel, Loretta. Exactly. Keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention. Don't fear. Just be prepared.
I'll just leave it the crowd with this. Don't smoke the hopium. Understand the threats are real in our world, but at the same time, don't get discouraged to the point where you just throw your hands up. There's always hope. Yes. All right, so understand the threats are real, but understand there's always hope. All right, don't get so discouraged, folks.
Thank y'all.
Y'all take care.
Being here.
God bless. Maybe shoot one of these up on the way out, or one of these, whatever, on the way out. Y'all take care, and God bless.